Hi, David Odell here with Odell Complete Concrete. Here's a patio I poured about 3 years ago. This patio I happened to do before I started doing the videos, so you won't find this patio pour on any of my videos because this was before I started videoing. Anyway, they went with these potted plants on the rear yard to try to get a little more privacy from the the playground at the school. A lot of balls were coming into their backyard. They want to get these trees to grow up, kind of block the soccer balls because they back up right to where a soccer goal is. Anyway, those pots didn't work out very well. The trees actually were root bound and they weren't growing. And here's another area by the driveway that we're going to take out. The tire keep hitting that raised brick and tearing the sidewall out of the tire, so we're going to flatten that out. Here's the chalk line. We're going to remove some of this concrete right here. We're going to remove 3 feet of it. And this particular job, I put rebar in it. And I didn't use any kind of dobies to hold the rebar up. I just do it like I do in a lot of my videos. I pull it up by hand as I pour out. And, a lot of people had the question, well, you can't really pull it up because now it's just going to sink back down. But this is the true test. Does rebar sink in concrete, in wet concrete? And that's what we're going to find out today. I know that it doesn't, but it seems like automatically you would assume that it would since the concrete's wet. But I just want to make sure that everybody knows that concrete won't sink, and rebar won't sink in wet concrete. It's just got too much rock in it, and it just holds it up. Now this little blade right here is called a crack chaser, and see how it puts that 45-degree bevel on there? Basically, I'm doing that because we're going to have a sharp edge there. You can see the cracks in that old patio too, right there. Did you see those? Those are cracks, which is typical in all concrete. But the idea of this rebar is it holds those cracks from really separating and going up and down. So we ran into some rebar here. The question is it on the dirt or isn't it? I was hoping that it was on the dirt because it would have made it a lot easier for me to remove this, but it doesn't look like it is. Now here's the tire. You can see the tire mark from hitting that raised brick trying to go into the garage. So we've went through a few sidewall tires. The sidewall tires are the softest, so if you even touch a lot of things, it's going to tear them, especially on the edge of a brick like that. So we're going to remove that raise, and then we're just going to put white rock in there and make it flat with the driveway. A little more turning radius going into that driveway. And we're going to save the one side of the brick since that is the neighbor's property line there. This is a 0 lot line. That means the house is on the property line. Hi, David Odell here. We're on the job site. And my wife just started making these. This is a heavy duty hand cream, really great for construction workers. I've been using it recently, and it really makes a difference. You put a bunch of this on at night or in the morning, and at night before you go to bed. In the morning your hands are nice and soft. It gets rid of all the cracking in your hands, so I recommend it. I've got a few different scents. This one is orange and bay rum. Bay rum is my personal favorite. This is a heavy duty hand cream, perfect for construction workers. It's all natural ingredients. Also, a lot of times when you're on the job, there's nothing to wash your hands with, so I had her make some of these, which is a hand sanitizer. So you can and this is a lemon, and we have a spearmint. So let me show you how this works real quick. Take a look at that. This is your basic hand sanitizer. Rub it on there on the job site. Dries out real quick. Hands are nice and clean.
Keep your hands open. Let me see your hands.
Look at that.
Okay.
That's 35 years. But this stuff right here got rid of a lot of the cracking right here. It's all due to construction work, outdoor activities. But yeah, if you're looking for something to make your hands softer working out here, you can get this through my storefront. You can go through my website to get to it, or go to the description on the YouTube and you can get to it, my storefront through there as well. Thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, the prices on these bay rums are 8 ounces, and these, well, all these, they're all the same price, but you get 8 ounces heavy duty hand cream, $15, includes shipping anywhere in the United States. These right here, these little 4-ounce hand sanitizers are $7, includes shipping anywhere in the US. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the live action. Anyway, back to the video, back to the concrete work. So like I was saying, this concrete's not coming out that easy because the rebar's actually in the concrete. So I had to crumble it into small pieces to break out around the rebar. Fortunately, I have some expansion foam along that block wall there, so that gave us a little space to pry the concrete so it wasn't bound in there. Here's a good look at where the rebar actually was without any dobies and just hand lifting it as you go. About 1.5 inches off the bottom, which is optimal for this particular design. That means it's not going to rust because the water can't penetrate that deep through the surface, and it's not on the dirt. That's right where you want it. So what we've discovered today is that rebar doesn't sink in wet concrete. Now this is going to make a nice planter bed here. Would have been nice even if we did, you could even do a raised planter bed in this situation. I wouldn't really put it up against that property line wall. I'd actually build another wall in front of that to support the dirt if you did do a raised planter bed here. Because this particular wall is already leaning to some extent, probably about 1.5 inches in 6 feet. So you really wouldn't want to put dirt, a raised planter bed against this and then irrigate, because that's just going to speed that process of it leaning. So what you do in this situation, if you did want to raise, is build another interior wall in front of that wall on its own separate footing, and then waterproof well, put drainage in, and we do have drains in this other patio that we could have attached to, and then you can have a nice raised seat wall planter bed. Now, as close as these trees are going to be together, that wall's really not even in probably, let's say, 5 years. If that wall were to fall over, these trees would be so bound in there that you couldn't walk through them. These trees are spaced about 3 feet apart, and they get really large. Now the topsoil that I'm using a half a bag per tree, and then I'm mixing that in with the native soil. Every time I open one of these pots up, cut them in half, you can see that the roots are all bounded at the bottom, so I kind of rip those up with a knife, cut them up, that way the roots can start branching out. But the most important thing about, when you're doing any kind of planting is to always put the green side up. Inevitably, that's what it really boils down to when you're doing planting. Yeah, those pots are about, I seen the price tag on the bottom of them, they're still on there, about $15 a piece. Some kind of plastic composite material. Been nice to salvage them, but the way they were shaped, it would have been tough to get that root ball out without really disturbing it. So cutting them was the best option. Here's the drip hose from that they had laying on top of the concrete that were feeding each individual pot. Now we're just going to set them on the dirt behind the trees, and then we'll stab them into the dirt at the base of each tree. They have the little drip heads. They're adjustable drip heads. They're from 0 to 10 gallons per hour, and you can dial them in as needed. Here's the raised planter in the front driveway area that was catching the edge of the tire and flattening it a couple times. So we're going to get rid of that raised part to give it a little bit better turning radius getting up onto the driveway from the street. The brick broke off on the actual raised brick they were trying to salvage on the neighbor's property. Broke off during the removal process, so we'll have to mortar that back down. Here's the backyard after we've completed it. We've got a nice 45-degree bevel on that saw cut, so we don't have that sharp edge. These trees were definitely in need of a transplant though. See, there's a couple new ones in there. Those 3 new ones are pretty healthy. That was actually new to here. They just picked those up. Those 3 of those trees weren't in the backyard for any length of time, so they're a lot newer. In 2 years they'll probably be double this size easily. Anyway, thanks for watching the videos. Don't forget the hand cream if your hands are in need of if you have cracks in your hand or just dry hands. It's good stuff. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe and stay tuned for my latest and greatest as I roll them out.